He does it big. As I was saying, so make sure you tighten up your finances. Tighten up not just in areas of finance, but tighten up yourself spiritually, physically. You know what I'm saying? Tighten up what is the strings or the strengthening of your household. You know what I'm saying? Your household is composed of usually yourself, and if you have a spouse, and if you got any kids. But right now we're in an unknown territory. So they looking your kids, your wife are looking at you if you're a man. If you're a single mother, your kids are looking at you. You know what I'm saying? They're looking to see how you're going to bounce back, how you're going to react to this. You know what I'm saying? What is it that you're going to do? How you going to be the head of your household? You know what I mean? What is it that you plan on doing? Because the government, although very influential in this country, they don't necessarily have a direct effect on your household and how you run things in your pocket. You know what I mean? Because we should be able, especially us as African American people, you should be resilient to all types of factors, all types of things that have come across and have affected you. You should be able to bounce back from all types of things. You know, we've gone through a lot of things. We've gone through hundreds and hundreds of years of factors and conditions that have held us back. And not to say that we're in a position now that we are what's quote unquote emancipated, not necessarily, but we can do more things than we have in the past. I'll say that. So that's one thing, is taking care of your household, man. Taking care of all aspects of your household. And if you take care of your household, and your friends are taking care of their household, and your neighbors are taking care of their household, and the city, and your community, and your schools, and your city, and everybody taking care of what they're supposed to do, then naturally things fall in order, things fall in place. So it's pretty much an effect, a take care of self effect. There's also taking care of others. You know what I mean? I live a lifestyle. I live a motto. I feel a responsibility to give back, to take care of others, to do right by others, to give. Me and my wife give a lot. You know what I mean? Whether it's unknown, whether it's friends, whether it's family. If you got a situation you're in need, usually we provide, we help. You know what I mean? And we're richly blessed from doing that. You know what I mean? It's pretty much the universe. It's the laws of the universe. You know, if you put out good seeds or you sow good seeds, then you will reap the rewards back. So that is pretty much how I live life, man. And I know some people may not understand that, but you try it. You just make an effort to go out and do those things, and you will see that everything will be granted upon you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what religion or whatever it is that you follow, you will see that you know what I mean, the goodness of the earth, the goodness of the universe comes back. So anyway, I'm not trying to get too deep on y'all, you know what I mean? But yeah, you want to take care of that. Now, another thing that I find is really interesting, if y'all want to call in, you can reach me 447-350-0602. But I was looking at something that said there's a flock of Americans who are preparing to roll out to Canada right now. So there's an article that I was checking out on CNET. It said, it's official. U.S. citizens look to flee to Canada after Trump ran. The Canadian Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship website crashed on U.S. election night, and that's because of the elections. So it says, as the election results rolled in and murmuring spread that Donald Trump was on the verge of winning the U.S. presidency on Tuesday night, the Canadian Immigration website abruptly went black. Rumors circulated that the cause of the shutdown was thousands of U.S. citizens visited the site. And so I said the Canadian government, they have substantiated those reports as being true. So it's a lot of us, trying to make that move out to Canada. which is really interesting. It said that website around 11 o'clock on that evening had a flood of more than 200,000 visitors. So they said the volume during that time period was significantly higher than the same time the previous week when the website just saw over 17,000 visitors. So that is absolutely crazy, but we, what I'm saying, we actually took a look, at least. I don't know if we're going to really do it, but it said that we definitely took a look to see what our option was. You know what I mean? So the crazy thing is, it makes sense. This guy, Trump, first of all, I don't know if he's going to substantiate or if he's rolling with what he said, but since he was elected, president, there was, through his campaign, he said he'd round up, deport 11 million undocumented people. And he also promised to build a wall along the Mexican border and create a mandatory registration for Muslim Americans. So that type of action, it created fear. It created unrest. It created uneasiness amongst our citizens. Because we got to sit, who are we to say that we are one type of religion or we're one type of ethnicity or one type of race? You know what I'm saying? This is a melting pot. This is a country that was built and made from people that just migrated and ended up here. You know what I mean? And the crazy thing is, because we call them colonizers, the crazy thing is that the colonizers who did come here all of a sudden conquered America and then just said it's going to be this way, and we're going to take this religion, and we're going to take this type of government, and we're going to do these policies. You know what I'm saying? It's like a dictatorship. So, okay, yeah, we are one of the greatest countries in the world, per se, amongst us and amongst whatever you're judging it on. You know what I mean? Whatever you're judging it on. We're also a fat, lazy, pompous, overconfident group of people. You know what I mean? So it's perspective. It's perspective of how you're being brought up and what you're comparing yourself to. You know what I mean? So it's crazy for you to feel that there's anything wrong. Any other immigrants have come in here because you yourself were not born here. You may have been born. I'm talking about as a people, as a race, as a you know what I'm saying? The Europeans weren't born here. Us African Americans, we weren't born here. And we were born here, of course, like I said, as literally. But I'm talking about as far as our people. This is not our homeland. And the same with them. It's not their homeland. So what is it your right to kick out Mexicans? Hell, how do we know that this wasn't originally habitated by Native Americans and Mexicans? I'm just saying. So we want to kick these folks out and build a wall and a border. It's super pompous to me. It's absolutely crazy. Let me see. I was reading. See, Gary G. Money said something. We're going to have to help each other as brothers and sisters to survive until the point where we can truly thrive. That is true. What else? Gregor, you said a beautiful wall. And then Gary G. Money said to ask a favor, but we're waiting on you to say what that favor is, G Money. The absolutely crazy thing here, and I was looking at something else. Hold on. Well, I got news stories and stuff playing in the middle of the background here. This ain't necessarily one I wanted to do. I was actually trying to read something, but this news story started playing in the middle of it, so let me turn that off. But anyway, I was reading this article here that said, with Donald Trump as president, here's what will happen to the U.S. economy. That's the interesting part. I want to see what they say. I don't know if this is pro-Trump or con Trump against Trump. I'm not sure what they're going to say here, but I'm very curious for them to tell me what it's going to be. And this is interesting because this was actually done in 2015. So it said this was actually done before he did all this stuff before he was elected. So, reading this, they're saying there's no denying Trump has done a good job of making himself rich, per se. He's worth somewhere between 4.5 billion and 10 billion, depending on who you ask. And the question is, can he make the rest of America rich too? So, they say he was elected 45th president of the United States on Tuesday. In his victory speech at the New York Hilton, he promised to focus on economic growth when he is sworn in next January. We have a great economic plan, he said. We will double our growth and have the strongest economy anywhere in the world. On the campaign trail, Trump admitted the economy wasn't something he looked forward to tackling. In the January interview with Good Morning America, he offered up a bleak assessment and added that in terms of fixing it, it's a task he'd rather skip. He says, we're in a bubble. And frankly, if there's going to be a bubble popping, I hope they pop before I become president because I don't want to inherit all this stuff. I'd rather it be the day before rather than the day after, I will tell you that. So in the April interview with the Washington Post, Trump reiterated his doomsday view of the economy, suggesting we might be headed for recession. But this time around, he appeared more open to the idea of his being in charge of finding remedies. I can fix it. I can fix it pretty quickly, he said. And more recently, he maligned the Federal Reserve for creating what he says is a false economy. As president, he will now be tasked with accelerating American economic growth and fixing its problems. So, that's my thing. That's kind of the issue I have with Trump. Like I said, he's here now, so you got to deal with it. But when it comes to certain fixes and issues, he gives you a very top view of something. It's never a detailed answer. He kind of belittles or demeans certain things. Like he says, okay, we're going to eradicate Obamacare. You know what I mean? But you know how long it took for Obamacare to get put in place? So how can you just eradicate Obamacare in January? And what is your alternative? What are you going to put in place? What will you be putting in place? And how long will it take you to put that in place? Obamacare took years to put in place. And you think that you have a remedy to fix that immediately? No. Do you think you're going to fix this economy immediately? No. So that's the crazy thing that I have, is this guy really wasn't built to be a president, to represent all types of people, all kinds of people. So with that, you got to understand what we're facing here. This guy's not going to be an all-encompassing leader. And not to say any other were, but this guy even more so. Hopefully he aligns himself with a good council, good staff around him that makes good decisions. But when it comes to the way that this guy is, the way that he's isolated and separated, we kind of got to look inward. We kind of got to look at ourselves. We kind of got to strengthen our communities. And that's something that is important on our end and things that we need to do. You know what I mean? The presidential election wasn't the only election going on. There's the infrastructure of, like I said, cities, the counties, and other things that, were important. And being that we may have not represented very well in the polls, some of these things may have come about where now you have communities who have bad representation on the local level. You know what I'm saying? So now it's affecting your schools or your cities or the budgeting for your police and fire department or infrastructure for transportation, highways, or different transportation co-op programs and different things like that. You know what I mean? So if you're missing out on grants and things to grow the city, then you know what I mean. That's the way it affects you locally, man. I mean, that stuff is an issue. Like I said, feel free to give me a call if you want to chime in. It's 404-735-0602. What we're going to do, we're going to take us a quick little break. And when we come back, we're going to continue chopping it up here. So, all right, let's get it. All right, let's pause for a break. topic.